hold on, I want to make sure I get this name right. Better Oblivion Community Center with Conor Oberst and Phoebe Bridgers. Talk about confusing. The name is confusing, but after listening to them, it seemed like an odd pair because Conor Oberst has been around since I believe it's the early 2000s. Bright Eyes might have even been late 90s even, and he wasn't ever someone that I totally got into, but I like some of the Bright Eyes songs. The first day of my life is obviously the one that people really I think stand for the most. But his career kind of took a lull, and especially as he moved more into his solo stuff, has been a lot heavier. In terms of he's always written very like meaningful lyrics and thoughtful lyrics, but it's been very like. He's gone through a lot of shit recently. I'll put it that way. So when I heard he's going to be teaming up with Phoebe Bridgers for this album, I wasn't totally sure it was going to work because Phoebe Bridgers is a very empathic, it comes from a very like kind perspective. And I was like, I don't know if these two mesh together. Did they work together as Better Oblivion Community Center?
Yeah, I think they did. I think they actually had a surprising amount of chemistry. I wasn't sure what to expect either, especially considering the Boy Genius EP that Phoebe Bridgers was a part of that we recently reviewed. Check that out if you missed it. That EP definitely felt like was good, but at times the trio was taking turns leading a song or taking charge of a song. Whereas for this duo project with Conor Oberst, it definitely sounds like they had more chemistry in the sense that they perhaps wrote a lot of these songs together and really complement each other really well, I think, by design. So I thought it flowed pretty well. And yeah, despite you saying thematically, lyrically, they seem to be on like different ends of the spectrum as far as like indie rock goes. I think they came together pretty nicely in terms of like the message they had. So, I also never really was into Conor Oberst. I see his songs shared a lot, like in like IG stories, and I'm like, not really a guy for me. And he's been in the game a while, like you said. I think he's 8 solo albums on top of all the band stuff he's done. But now I've never really cared for him that much. But I thought this was pretty cool. There was a few songs I really actually dug. But what was your take on this?
Yeah, Phoebe Bridgers' album "Stranger in the Alps" came out in 2017. Then the deluxe version dropped last year. She's a rising star in the indie world, whereas Conor Oberst is pretty established, and I guess I might say moving towards the downswing of his career, probably, at least in popularity. It seems to have waned a bit. I thought they meshed together well, and I think that makes sense because I believe Conor actually sang on one of her songs in her album 2017. And when I was reading a couple of reviews about this, there's a good one on Pitchfork that talks about how Conor heard Phoebe's album and really felt like she brings an empathy that he needs in his life at this point. And I think that he really it sounds very much like Phoebe is the mind behind the lyrical content, at least, or the direction of the album. It might be more true to say, but Conor really grabs onto it and runs with it. And I think they not only write songs together really well, I think the writing on this is phenomenal, but they actually duet together beautifully. And I think their voices match up and bring a lot of feeling into these songs. And I agree. I think that for a band that has a very indie rock name and a very indie rock perspective, they have some songs here that actually just rock in general. I think the main track that is coming off this, Dylan Thomas, is a banger. Like that song I think is freaking awesome. I love Big Black Heart a lot. I think the ending to that, just always like head pounding to it. I don't know, what else stood out to you? What else do you like?
Yeah, I really like Sleepwalking, the second track, and Exception to the Rule as well. I think that both those songs have strong guitars, and that's often my problem with like softer indie stuff or even folk rock, which I know Oberst has dabbled in as well. It just is like, it's too mellow for me. But even when like there's pretty soft spoken, the two of them on this project throughout, but I think because it's relatively upbeat and a lot of times the guitars are actually like jamming on the guitars, it sounds pretty good. So as someone who like has a hard time with the soft stuff in this scene, I thought it worked really well.
Yeah, the guitar solo at the end of Sleepwalking is excellent. And actually, Nick Zinner from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs is on Dylan Thomas and Dominoes. And I think his guitar work is not only is it stylistically in line with how he usually sounds with the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, but it really drives Dylan Thomas, which I think is probably the song I'll add to the playlist. Check that out, Nowstalgia Best of 2019. But they actually are able to flow from these like really more rock infused songs to the more folky, softer acoustic songs pretty well. Like Chesapeake, I think, is a song that is pretty mainstream indie acoustic, and it's just a beautiful song, beautifully written that they duet together well on. Uh, I really like this album. Probably one I'll come back to quite a bit. And Conor Oberst, good for him, man. I feel like I'm glad he's getting a win here in 2019.
Yeah, I was checking too. They put it out on Dead Oceans. That's that indie label that Phoebe Bridgers has been using. It's not the label that Connor has been using recently, and that makes a lot of sense. Attach yourself to the new wave right now. So, good idea.